Hello everybody, this is part 3 of What If Deku was the Red and White Dragon Emperor. Okay, let's get in with it. We start off with Izuku. Well, with the next day from what happens. With everything happens up until... So, what happens is, they've gone to the karaoke club, like, Arcia, Kiryu, and those two pervs, I forgot the name, Motohama and the other guy. With also Kiba there. With then Izuku getting the text from Rias and Akino, seeing how they got new swimming suits. Him getting nearly getting a nosebleed, since in this he's also a little bit of a perv. Then we get to when he goes outside, because he's gotten a call from, Azazel. With then him leaving there to go to Azazel. With them playing some games, and then with Azazel revealing that he is Azazel, the leader of the Fallen Angels. And then we skip to the next day, where... No, it's like later that night, where, Rias is furious that the leader of the Fallen Angels has tricked her favorite pawn, her favorite servant, I mean. Then we get to the part where Cersex comes in, telling them about how the leader's summit is going to be happening, and that they will be staying there for a couple of days to get some business done. Then we get to the part where, it's the parent, parents can come in and see, like family can come in and see what they've been doing. We get to the part where it's the clay sculpture class. As I said from, one of my past videos, in this part, it will be Inko, and so we skip to, the night before this, with, Inko telling Izuku that she'll be bringing someone there. That night, Izuku was wondering who he was going to be. If it was going to be, his dad, or, someone that she's been dating. He thinks he might know who it is, but he's not going to make any presumptions. And then we get back to the part where, it's only Inko that's in, the, part with the clay. So, he actually requests more clay, because he's thinking that he might be doing something big. Saying that he might need, 9 more bricks. Everybody being shocked, thinking, what can he create in, the short amount of time that they have? With then him going into his imagination, letting his hands move, all on their own. Then what happens is, he starts sculpting this dragon, which is one of the green dragon emperors that are inside the sacred gear. He also sculpts this one. He also sculpts this dragon, and this dragon, and this dragon. This is the Death Dragon Emperor that is inside, of the scythe. This is the Blue Dragon Emperor, called Aqua, the gem that's on his chest. This is the Gold Dragon Emperor. If you would like me to get into some detail about this guy, I will be doing that right now. Pretty much the ability that he has was the, ability to turn things golden. He got that from, this is an old dragon from the time where King Midas was around. He was a pet of King Midas's. He was like a regular dragon with a grey palette. And then, when King Midas was being buried, he got given, one of King Midas's, ribs, which he then ate, and he got the power of turning things gold. This is the Golden Angel Dragon Emperor. He looks more like a griffin, but he is a dragon. This is the volcanic dragon emperor. But this is the purple dragon emperor that is inside Volley's sacred gear. He doesn't sculpt this one. He sculpts Drake and Albion. He sculpts every single dragon that he has. He also sculpts this one, which this is the Shadow Dragon Emperor, which is in his dragon form. And this is the Blood Dragon Emperor in his dragon form. Which then we get back into Izuku's mind, and then after he's thinking of like all the dragons, then Rias, Akino, Koniko, Arcia, and all the female members of the Parage pop into his head. Which then he starts sculpting them. At this point, the sculpture is like as big as his desk. It has all the dragons surrounding it, surrounding Rias, Akino, and all like the females. And then like in the center is all the females. Then then he gets out of his mindscape and looks at what he created, which then everybody is shocked. Like they've been watching him for like until like he steps out of it. Then they start bidding, like they'll pay him for it. With him then replying with, "Fuck no, I'm keeping this. This is one of the few things that I'm proud of. Besides the women here." Which in his head is he's regretting saying that because he actually enjoys them being there. Which he then runs out of the class with this in his hands. He then shadow jumps from the school to his room and puts it down there because he's going to paint that later. He has a whole bunch of like sculptures and like other things that he's made, like including drawings. Which then he goes back to school and he takes a picture of it before he leaves. Which he then shows everybody like he shows Rias, Akino, and Arcia. Which they're being amazed, thinking that they didn't even know that he had like this that he could like sculpt things as well. They knew that he could sing. They didn't know that he could sculpt things. Then we get back to when they're inside, where Inko is meeting Rias' father. The person that is with Inko is Toshinori Yagi, which is All Might. Izuku thought that it might have been him, and was surprised because he introduced All Might to his mother, like a few years before the whole High School DxD thing happened. They actually got each other's contacts and started chatting. Then that got into dating, and they hid that from Izuku. With All Might now seeing what Izuku looks like, since he hasn't seen him in a while, seeing that he's got a much better build, looking like Prime All Might, a bit, but skinnier. Remarking that Izuku still has that mask on, with him replying with yes. And then we get to the part where they invite Rias' dad to their place. Which then we skip to then, and they're starting to have some drinks. With All Might acting like Issei's dad in canon. Like saying that does he want some wine? With Izuku then grabbing the bottle and sculling the rest of it down. With All Might being shocked, including Inko. Since they never actually seen him drink since he's still 17 at this point. Also, everybody will be aged up, so everybody is around 17. Going into 18 the next year. Also, Gasper and Koniko are both also 17. It's because I've had them so then it's something like later down the line in the My Hero Academia part of this What If. So with Izuku then replying with, that's not strong enough and that he needs something much stronger. And with him then leaving, going out for a while, with then him coming back with a bottle of mead. Him then getting a glass and pouring him a glass of it. With Inko asking what it is. Him replying with mead. Her being like, you're still underage. Him replying with, he knows. He just likes it for the taste. And for, like, some of the effects that he gets from it. So, you know how the part of the adapting part? That also, that also has another ability from it. Whatever he, drinks, he can adapt to it really well. So it could have different effects to him. Say, if it was, like, an alcohol. That would give him, like... It really has, like, a random... It's like, a spinning wheel. It has, like, a random thing of what it could be. It could have, like, a stamina effect. It could have adrenaline. It could be, like, a sleeping thing. It can make him fall asleep. It has, like... It's, like, a whole wide range from things. I got this idea from the green-haired guy from Nunbaka, which is a prison anime, which, Izuku's voice actor actually voices. And with him then pouring him a few more glasses, and then we get to the part where Serzex asks Issei to sleep with him. Like, sleep in the same room. With then Serzex giving Izuku the idea of using the boosted gear to enhance Ryu's breasts to make them bigger. And then using the divine to divide them back to where they were before. With this then triggering the perv part of his mind to go into overload, making him stay up all night. We then skip to the next day. I know that I'm doing this, like, but this is happening at a different time. So I changed that to where that happens, like, the night after that. And then we get to the part where Varley shows up. With him saying that they are conflicting existences and how the people who are tied in with them usually have good lives. With the part about him being weaker than him, he says that they are actually on pretty even ground. Since Varley has the ability to copy skills, so he can copy any dragon's abilities, or any abilities that he's seen. In, like, either shows, anime, literally anything. It could be, like, the Kamehameha skill. Or, like, the, One Piece 4th gear. Literally anything that he can just imagine. It's pretty much just a copy skill in Overdrive. With them then continuing on the day. Then we get to the part where, it's time to clean out the pool. This is happening later than it happens in canon. So, they clean out the pool, and when Kiba and Issei are talking, like, when he goes out of the room, instead of his arms turning, like, the red color, it's, his stomach. He gets this immense pain in his stomach, and he knows what this is. He then goes into, like, a side room, going into his mindscape. But then, the thing is, the dragons aren't in his mind. Which he then goes down this long road into his stomach, which is where they have their disputes. If they want to fight, they go down to his stomach. Him then telling them to stop. This makes, he always feels sick when they, whenever they have their disputes, since they're fighting in his stomach. So at one point he ends up throwing up, telling them to quit it out, and the two people that he's been reincarnated as, for them to stop letting the dragons use their power. That he has a seal on his body to stop them being able to use the power, and him. Which then he goes back out of his mindscape and his stomach stops hurting. He then goes outside to them, like, finishing up cleaning the pool. Them asking where he was, him just saying that he had some business to do with the dragons. Then they get to the part where they put in the water and Rias asks Issei to help her with something. Izuku helps Koneko learn how to swim. With the Rias and Akino learning how to swim too coming into his mind. Which then we get to the part where Arcia is. Then he's having like a little rest. He's like sunbaking. And then Rias comes up to him asking if he can put lotion on her back. With then Izuku replying with yes. And then Akino coming in saying that she wants him to do that to her too. And then they start fighting. And then it ends with Izuku running away. Diving into the water. To the deepest part of the water, so to meditate. Since he prefers to meditate underwater because there's no sound there to annoy him. Then when he goes out to go to the toilets, which he then runs into Zenobia. So if I butchered her name last part, I kind of forgot it. And then she then goes on to the whole monologue how she never got to do what she wanted to do while she was in the church. With then her saying that Rias says, devils get desires, want desires, and that whole thing. And with then her saying that she wants the motherly life that she never thought that she'd have. With Izuku replying with, huh? Then we get to the part where she pushes him down onto the floor of that room. Which he is shocked and still, processing it in his head. He, with then, her saying that it takes a few months for these things to grow. With him still doing nothing since he's still processing. And then everybody comes in, thinking that, with Koneko saying that this is going to be a bumpy night, and then Akino saying that she already promised, the whole thing about taking Issei's virginity. And then with him then bringing out his white dragon emperor wings and flying out through the roof, leaving a hole there. With him then flying off into the forest. And then we get to the part where it's later that night, and Rias is asking him to, Akino is asking him to go to, that shrine to do something. And then, when he goes there and he meets Akino there, he says that that they should go in. Him being not affected by this sense, him not saying the whole thing about, that he has to stop there because it's a shrine. With him knowing that he has the golden angel dragon emperor, which nullifies all holy effects to him, since he's a devil. Then we get to the part where Michael comes in. They then sit down, and Michael brings out Escalating. With Akino then saying that the whole thing about that she's surprised that he attained that so well. And then her with Izuku bringing up the part about Kokubil bringing up the guy named Barkill, with saying that she got a real defensive when he mentioned that name. Him asking, who is he? Her saying that that's her father. And then we get to the part where she brings out her wings. Izuku has this shocked look on his face, and with Akuno then saying that she knows that he hates fallen angels. But then we get to the part where Izuku then says that he hates fallen angels, but she's different because she's been nice to him ever since he's joined, and it doesn't matter what she is, that she's still Akuno. With then him saying that also that her fallen angel wing is beautiful, and that if he wouldn't change that if he had to, because it's the deepest shade of black that he's ever seen. Akuno being like complimented by this, and then we get to the part where she then asks him to, like, she jumps on Izuku. Her asking him to call, like, the whole thing about telling him to call her, like, a bad girl. Which then Rias comes in. And her, asking the question if he's got to know his big sister as much as he wanted to. With then, with then him then leaving with Rias, and then her popping the question that since he wants to be like a harem king, if she has a spot in it. With Izuku then saying that his dream isn't to become a harem king, because that was just a false rumor that everybody started spreading around about him. From people from his middle school. And then we get to the part where if to her asking if he was to have a harem, would she be a part in it? Him then saying it's really up to you, because it's not my choice that you're in it. It's yours, since as long as the people that are in it are people I know and that I care for, sure, you can be in it. With Rias having a completely different reaction than in what happens in regular, in canon. With then her thinking like, is he like being serious, and then we get to the part of the next day, which I'm actually going to do a time skip to when it's the summoners meeting. They go there, they see everybody, they see with Koniko and they bring out Gasper. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name. With then they get to the whole part about his training. And then him going back into his room, and then Izuku comes up with the idea of him popping like a question to Gasper, if he wanted Izuku to create him a mask to hide his face, so then people wouldn't see his face. with Izuku then saying that he thinks he might have the perfect mask for him, since he has like some old ones that he doesn't need to use, that he can imbue some things onto it. So he could imbue like a thing where he has X-ray vision, or that it makes it so then you have to have like really like good focus to see him, or he wants you to see him. With Gasper then saying that he'd love one. With then Izuku then grabbing his shoulder and teleporting them to his room. And then he brings out one of his old masks, which I'll show you now. Which he brings out this mask, and him asking Gasper if he'd like it. Gasper then asking Izuku what it is. Him saying that it's an Oni, like the mask that he's wearing right now. but like an old one, like one that he owned. Then he asked what color he wants it to be. Him then saying like a pinkish purplish, which then it changes to him then turning it into this. Gasper then saying perfect, with then Izuku asking like what he wants to imbue on it, with him then saying that he wants to put on it the thing about him being seen, like if he wants to be seen or if they have like a strong willpower, which he then adds it on, which doesn't really change the appearance of it. It just gives it a strong magical presence. And then Gasper puts it on, which then he is it really doesn't change anything except he feels much better about himself. Which this is when the girls actually get home, hearing noise from Izuku's room. And then him then showing Gasper's new mask. Okay, then them being impressed, and then we get to the part where it's the summoners meeting. Which then, like, it's Koneko and Gasper being left there saying, like, that, they need to protect it, and that, with Izuku giving him, like, a PSP, which is, like, that little game thing that he had. Then we get to the actual summoners meeting. Which they come in seeing Azazel, Lady Leviathan, Serzex, Michael, not Zenovia, Irina, and Seraphul's younger sister, Sona, seeing them. With Exovia seeing Irina being shocked. And then we get to the part where they start saying how war is bad, and then they ask the Dragon Emperors, like Volley saying that there shouldn't be a war. Well, then it cuts to Izuku. With at this point he's like fallen asleep because he's like currently in his mindscape talking to his dragons that he has there. With then him telling them to stop fighting since it's annoying his stomach. And then we get to when he wakes up, which he has a pissed look on his face. Something like what he has on here. But you can only see it through his eyes. And then what was it? Well, then him saying that war is bad, like that he doesn't want there to be a war, so then he can continue on with his dream. Since the war would be annoying for his dream. Also, something that I should mention, All Might. Since he's the #1 hero, he knows about devils, angels, and the fallen angels. With him actually knowing about his Dragon Emperors and him being the reincarnation of 2 very old people from the past. And then we get to the part where everybody freezes since Gasper's being controlled, being made to put in like a temporary balance breaker form. And then what happens is Izuku gets even more pissed, and he uses 100% one for all, goes over to the wall that leads to the outside and punches it, obliterating the wall. Literally, only the only people that are standing that are unfrozen are the people that are in canon, including Riaz. And then we get to the part where they go outside, and Izuku then rushes all the witches bringing out his scythe, and then like obliterating them all. Then that the granddaughter of like the Leviathan at the time comes out, with then him using the ability of putting the mind under stress, but the person not being in the actual pain. And then Izuku brings out the scythe. As I said, putting it in the mode where it puts the mind under the pain, but not the body. Which then he starts slashing at her, this putting her through immense pain, her dropping to the ground. With then him saying that he better hurry up and tell him the plans before he makes it even worse. And her saying that she's not going to break. Which then he then brings out 10 zombies, which he then tells them to attack her, but leave her alive. And then they start attacking her. Then she says that she gives up, and that she'll tell him if she puts her out of her misery. Then she telling him the plan about them getting the vampire kid to freeze time, so then they can kill all the current demon lords, devil lords, I mean. And then with then him going into his full powered Furious Balance Breaker form, with then him rushing over to the clubhouse and putting a hole in the wall where Gaspar and Koniko is. He then goes over to the witch, grabbing her by the head and going to her jaw, ripping her head off, with all the other witches that are in the room being terrified. With then him turning his hand to like regular, scratching it, throwing the blood at Gaspar, telling him to lick it, and then he does, making everybody unfreeze. Which then he puts on that thing that Azazel gives him, and then we get to the part where Varley betrays everybody. And then we get to the part where he pisses off Izuku, saying that maybe he should make him an avenger by killing his mother. This pissing him off, making him go into like a deep, vengeful voice, saying,
"Leave my mother out of this. She has nothing to do with it."
With then him then saying, with Varley then saying to maybe he should attack his friends. Him then jumping in front of it. Varley then going back. This pissing off Izuku even more. And even more. Up until he eventually goes back into his human form and brings out, with then his hair enveloping in flames and this red crystal coming on his hair. Him then saying, "I unleashed the power of the true Dragon King God, Trigor." With Varley and Zephyr being absolutely terrified and shocked, because nobody knew that this Dragon Emperor had awakened. Then what happens is he then says, Trigor, Juggernaut Drive, which then he goes through this immense transformation, ending up with this. This is the Trigor Juggernaut Drive, and this person down here, that is Varley compared to it. Everybody is absolutely shocked that he transformed into this huge Among Us dragon. This is the true Dragon King God. Zephyr. I mean, not Zephyr, Trigor. He has pretty much any fire ability that you can think of, he has. Fire manipulation, has it. Pyrokinesis, has it. Lava kinesis, has it. Lava and fire manipulation, has it. If I said fire manipulation, I'm sorry. and he can pretty much bend any heat to his will. He also has the ability to you see the black part? That is obsidian. Like cooled and hardened obsidian. He also has the abilities of, well, really any fire dragon that I can think of. And he has every single dragon's strength combined into his own. If I was to put it into a power level, it would be around like near God of Destruction level. Like near God of Destruction level from Dragon Ball. Then he just slaps down his hand on on Zephyr and Barley, knocking them to the ground. With then them yelling out Juggernaut Drive, turning into this. This is their